Hello, welcome to Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. Today is a Sunday and I spent the past week using this oracle to try it out. I am playing with different oracles each week in the month of March. Now, I have not connected with this. It has not given me good readings. It's the archetypal energies of different star seeds. This is Mystic Martian Oracle by Lyssa Porter, published by Rockpool in 2021. And I got this last year, and I maybe used it once. And I guess I just put it away and did a flip through, but then I put it away. So we only have 24 ET archetypes listed, and then we have sacred geometry, which Lyssa Porter says are linking cards. So we have the elements, we have alchemy, crop circles, flower of life, golden ratio, Kabbalah tree of life, Merkaba, Ouroboros, pentagram, shadow self, star seed, third eye, whatever this is, and so each of the 4 elements. So it says we are all cosmic star seed residue of life that was birthed from wonders beyond the extraordinary, now residing within the Maya of illusion, hoping to fully awaken and remember back into our self-aware and enlightened universe. And about Lyssa Porter, she is the illustrator and author. She's self-taught and she lives in Australia. She's interested in esoteric literature, ancient pagan mysticism, mythology, archetypal allegories, ufology, and xenology. I don't know what that is. I will have to look that up. I've never heard of it. So I really love the packaging. Like this packaging with the green and the purple is so fun. And I love the metallic reflective box. It's only on that side, and this side is like the Starry Night. And the book, I love that. I love the backs. I love that it's gilded in this lime green. Unfortunately, the cards have bowed. I love the artwork, but the book really leaves something to be desired. So you have like a little overview, 1 to 2 pages of the extraterrestrial archetype, and then you have the card meaning for upright and then reversed. This is not enough for me. I have another deck that does what this deck tries to do, but in a much better fashion, and I've given readings with this deck to a friend of mine who is a starseed, and it was right on the money. So this is the Galactic Heritage Cards by Lyssa Royal Holt, illustrations by David Cow. This book is amazing, and you have so many more archetypal energies listed. So we have how this card system was created, introduction to the galactic card material from Germain, sample layouts, some common questions, a note about the artwork, what's next, a final note from Lyssa, card meanings, and commentaries. So I actually got to meet Lyssa in Phoenix, and she was doing a channeling, and I am very skeptical of channels, but she's the real deal. I trust her, and I like that she says she's just channeling a higher aspect of herself from another life dimension, and she's just bringing it down, which I think that's exactly what you do when you channel. I don't think it's a separate entity. It's like your higher self. So this has, let's see, I think she said it's 109 cards. So here's some sample for her. We have the Star Lineage Spread 7 cards, Karmic Challenge Spread 4 cards, Higher Guidance Spread 4 cards, and Personal Question Spread 2 cards. So we see them here. So I love this book. This book is so in-depth with the meaning of the cards and how it reads. So we have Orion 56. You have a little picture, black and white, of the card. You have Healing Crisis and Purging Present. That's the key word. We have commentary. And then, so it's only one page, but seriously, what's written in this book is so profound. So I think I might use this book while I'm doing the layout in this. Now, this deck, the cards are a little bit bigger. They're wider, but they're short. And there's just, I mean, 109 cards is a lot. Let me see if it... Okay, so species or star systems, 21 different species or star systems are represented. There are 4 suits or time streams are recognized: past, present, future, and parallel. Theme: each card has a theme or lesson. She used multidimensional consciousness, Germain channeled through Lyssa, also assisted Hong Kong artist David Cow in the channeling of the images. So you kind of have like a multi-dimensional looking back. So this is a chunky deck. There's so many cards. I'm gonna say it's 109. I think I remember seeing that somewhere. So this deck is, you know, even though it's so many cards, it shuffles really nicely. The artwork is okay. I don't necessarily connect with the artwork on here, but like I said, the messages in the book is what makes this deck system amazing. This book is, let's see, 150 pages with the about the author and about the illustrator. So I'm gonna put these back. I may do a flip through soon of this, but that's not really the point of this video. So we're gonna come back to the Mystic Martian Oracle. And I wanna do one of the spreads. All right, this is the Martian Spread. What ET species am I most connected with? So card 1, what ET species am I most connected with? What do the ET see as my life purpose? What lessons do the ET see I need to learn right away? Where do ET see my near future oriented towards? And why do the ETs not reveal themselves to me? I'm gonna shuffle the cards and lay those cards out. So these cards shuffle well. They're a little bit longer than those other cards that I showed you. So I usually feel like heat from the cards when I really connect with them, and I don't feel that from these. So that's what I'm doing when I pass my hand over it, is I'm feeling, and whatever deck feels hot to me, whatever pile, I know those are my cards, and I didn't feel anything. And honestly, I have not really felt anything all week with working with these cards. So I feel a little warmth, but not really. So we'll just go with this pile. So it's a 5-card spread. So it kind of goes clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the first card, it says, what ET species am I most connected with? So it says the tall whites. Okay, that's so not true. This is uncertainty, distrust, and guarded. Yeah, maybe that's how I feel about this deck. So we'll go to the tall whites in the book, and it gives this. It is unclear exactly where the tall whites originated from. Some suggest they may be a Pleiadian, Electra, or Lyrian lineage branch. Tall whites stand 6 to 7 feet tall and are humanoid in appearance. Their thin, chalky, pale white skin makes them look almost albino. Their eyes are proportionally double the size of humans and are blue in color when young before changing to indigo and pinkish with age. They have platinum white hair and are lanky and slender. They can reach the age of up to 900 Earth years and are vegetarians. Like most ETs, they do not age like Earthlings do. And I've noticed in this, most ETs are vegetarians. The tall whites are very family-oriented and often bring young ones with them on short trips. They are known to be fiercely protective of their offspring. They are not emotionally demonstrative at all. In fact, they can appear totally emotionless. However, they are easily provoked and will swiftly retaliate with no warning. It is advised to never underestimate their abilities and speed if they are startled, and when they are in the presence of humans, always let them know your whereabouts if you value your life. Overall, the tall whites do not trust the human species. The tall whites are, however, amazed at humans' close connection to pets in the animal kingdom. Their mannerisms are very focused, thorough, and deliberate. They do not multitask, and they are not into small talk. The males hardly speak, though the females may make an effort and speak a little. They prefer a dry climate, and it is said some are based on a treaty basis in a mountain on Earth in exchange for giving some gravity and levitation generated technology information. They will not give light speed travel technology to humans. They are excellent warriors and have highly sophisticated technologies. So card meaning uncertainty, wary, skeptical, cautious, cynical, guarded, distrust, aloof, pause, on hold, sensitive, agile, and exercise. Reversed meaning, but it's not reversed, would be the opposite. So it's almost like if this is dark, this is light. If this is dark, this is light. So you'll see that with all, because even humans, we have our positives and our negatives, just like ETs. Not all ETs are one or the other. So I personally don't connect with the tall whites at all. And I would definitely say that this is not the alien race that I am connected with. However, this is the energy that I feel towards this deck. I am skeptical of this deck. Let's see if there's tall whites in here. And I'll read the difference to y'all. Okay, there's not an index. So this may prove harder than it appears. All right, so she doesn't have all of the species. I thought she did have all of them, but she has like focuses on a few and then calls them like different. So she has like the Founders, Galactic Core, Andromeda, Arcturians, Lyra, Vega, but she does past, present, and future, and then parallel. And then she has Zeta Reptilii, and same thing, Orion, Pleiades, Sirius, Earth, Orion. So she doesn't do all. She has Vega, Zeta Reptilii, the dolphins, the Pleiades, the whale, Sirius, and the Ascensi. So I can't do what I wanted to, but I may do a walkthrough of this one soon, or a comparison. So let's continue with this reading. The second card represents, what do the ETs see as my life purpose? So we have Blue Avians, philosophy, releasing karma, and mysticism. It's funny, I keep getting the Blue Avians. So I guess the archetypal energy of the Blue Avians, they want to work with me. So this is what it says. Blue Avians are mammalian humanoid ETs with bird-like features. Their origins are unclear. Encounter reports claim they are now from another multiverse, though originated from our local star cluster. Blue Avians have some resemblance to the offshoot of Lyrian genetic lineage known as the bird people. The Blue Avian are 6th to 9th density dimensional, tall with slender body frames. They are covered in soft bluish to indigo feather down. They have cool, calm, and diplomatic nature with a profound and intelligent understanding of ontological, philosophical, and metaphysical phenomenon. They are well versed on the law of one material, which is Egyptian sunbird god Ra. They are remarkable time-traveling explorers using spherical orb teleportation technology. Blue avian ETs have been referenced in many ancient mythological documentation, including Mayan, Egyptian, Hindu, and Babylonian literature and artifacts. The blue avian archetype coincides with what history labels angels and are known as ancient builder race and architects of this quadrant of the universe. The blue avian's mission is largely to protect all of life and assist in the development of human ascension. So the card meaning: inner work, philosophy, esoteric knowledge, releasing karma, mysticism, ascension, divine masculine, self-discovery, scholar, intellect, study, education, diplomat, science. Okay, so that actually does really play into, I'm a Gemini, and from a young age, from my first psychic reading on, every psychic and every person tells me I am a teacher. So this fits right in with that. And I always like scoffed at that. I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. All the women in my family have either become teachers or nurses, and I didn't want to be a teacher. But when I finally understood that being a teacher doesn't mean necessarily in a classroom setting, it can just be how you live your life. So this card, definitely. So it's funny that, the deck is picking up on I don't really necessarily feel like I connected the deck. I'm a little suspicious of the deck. But my life mission is definitely mysticism, obviously. My original channel started out being called, I was Sarah the Rainbow Hearted Witch, and my business name was Smart Reiki and Tarot, and I offered obviously Reiki sessions, tarot. I've been studying alternative healing methods and tarot since I was in my 20s. So almost 20 years now. So it makes sense. You know, Reiki has been like a passion of mine. I have my Reiki masters, and I've studied Usui Reiki, Karuna Reiki, um, Blue Star Reiki. Blue Star Reiki is my favorite. I love Blue Star Reiki. So um, this makes a lot of sense. All right, we'll go to the third card, which is this card right here. This is, what lessons do the ETs see I need to learn right now? Self, memories, and identity. So this is one of the, what they call a connector card. I really love how there's a cactus right here, and there's a cat, and the rainbow, and then there's like rainbow here. And this looks like an elf on the shelf in the books, and a little sun catcher. So this says star seeds prior to this or other Earth incarnations have experienced life elsewhere in the cosmos other than Earth. Some star seeds have recall activated in their DNA due to Earth's limited recall access biosphere from ancient historical collective trauma. Others have no actual memories at all. All star seeds have an inkling, sensing, or knowing that this incarnation at some point originated and belongs to something somewhere far bigger. Many star seeds have an inner awareness level of consciousness, development outside of the predictable mainstream narratives. Star seeds are typically spiritual in nature and have healing energies. Some are very new souls on Earth, while others are very old souls that have experienced many contracted incarnations on Earth to evolve and pass on ancient esoteric wisdom. The newer souls will be continuing the older souls' work. Different starseeds will naturally resonate toward different aliens and galactic alliances. It is not uncommon for awakening starseeds to have dreams, memories of traveling ET crafts, or experiences of UFO encounters. Starseeds are here now to assist in the transitioning and activation of the collective consciousness on Earth. So card meaning, you, self, identity, memory, selfhood, me. Okay, so to me, this really is like talking about tapping in to your subconscious, or you could say your DNA memories, through meditation, through contemplation, through daydreaming, through dreams, and to remember who you really are. And we all are starseeds. It's not just, you know, a few people. Like this says, most people forget. And some of newer souls maybe haven't had as many lives off Earth or off planet, where other people have had more recent lives off Earth on other star systems. Like a friend of mine, you know, has had recent lives off planet, and she remembers those. But most of us have a collective forgetting of our starseeds origins and starseed connections. But we all have them. You know, maybe newer souls have fewer, or maybe newer souls have only incarnated so far here. But our souls are intergalactic, interdimensional. I do believe that. So this is basically just, you know, what I need to do now is to meditate and self-reflect, which I'm doing with journaling again and writing. I don't like meditation unless I'm meditating on like a tarot oracle card or a candle, or like meditating with a crystal. I love meditating with crystals too, like connecting with the spirit of crystals or herbs is really cool too. All right, so moving on, card 4 is, why do the ETs not reveal themselves to me? All right, so it says the fire element. Fire is one of the 4 classical elements and critical energetic forces that sustain physical third-dimensional life on our planet. Fire rules Aries, Leo, and Sag. Archangel Michael rules the fire element. Prometheus is a fire deity. Fire is a masculine yang energy. Confidence, creativity, and initiative. So we have action, vigor, warrior, passion, willpower, vitality, leadership, fearlessness, determination, motivation, drive, daring, feisty, appetite, gut, instinct, zealous, initiative, heat, the sun, solar plexus, chakra, and summer solstice. All right, I know that I'm a fiery person, maybe because I haven't contemplated enough and I'm too reactive. They're saying they haven't, revealed themselves to me, but they have. So, I mean, this is kind of like a mute point for me, but I am a very fiery personality. I remember the first time I went and got my aura photo taken, I was like 20 years old, 20 something. And I had driven an hour and a half and I couldn't find parking and I was like all heated and just like worked up, and I sat down and my picture came out. It was all red, and the person who took the photo was like, wow, I've never seen this before. All red auras are usually reserved for firefighters, police officers, combat, military personnel, EMTs. I have always been a fiery personality, very reactive. I played sports. I played soccer, lacrosse, basketball, tennis, downhill skis, snowboarded. Like, I was a very active person. I always had so much energy to expel. So I've always been very fiery, very spicy. I think it's my moon sign is Leo. So I actually have a lot of fire in my chart. So it makes sense. Like, my husband says I'm very aggressive. It's funny because he's from California and he's so laid back and so chill. He definitely balances me out. I'm from the East Coast. I have a quick, sharp tongue, very direct, very blunt, and I've had to work on that. I've had to quell this fire, this directness a lot, especially moving to Phoenix. People are more laid back. It's not quite the West Coast and it's not quite the South, but it's like a cool mixture of that. So I had to scale back my directness and what comes across as aggression to people. So it makes sense that maybe the aliens are like, she's a little too much for us. All right, and then the final card is, oh, sorry, I had that wrong. 4 is, where do the ETs see my near future oriented towards? Okay. Well, this has always been me, like I just said, so it makes sense. I'm still a fiery warrior fighter person. Political activism has always been my thing. I was in college in DC and went to protests down at the mall. Did dance protests, did walking protests, went to rallies and things like that. And I stepped away from that for quite a while, but I am reinvigorated now. So yes, okay, I see my near future, like the next 4 years of being very focused on activism again. All right, so 5 is, this is why do they not reveal themselves? So the Venusians are humanoid extraterrestrials that live on our Venus sister planet within our solar system. Venusians are descendants from the Lyra race. Venus is extremely hot and on third-dimensional realms, uninhabitable by human standards. However, Venus is teeming with exuberant life and highly evolved civilizations. Venus has sophisticated environmental technologies that protect its colonies. These beautiful people coexist in complete harmony. Venus has no wars, is completely egalitarian, and has neither money systems nor fraud. Similar to the distant cosmic cousins and Pleiadians, the Venetians also have a tarnished history. Eons ago, but before they collectively shifted their consciousness and frequencies, the Venetians' egos nearly wiped their entire bloodline out and almost totally destroyed their own home planet. Okay, so that's a lot. My voice is... You can pause the screen and read this if you would like. I can't read anymore. My voice is going. So card meaning is romance, unconditional love, empathy, soulmates, twin flames, mutual attraction, true love, open heart, dating, courting, marriage, and self-love. Well, if I'm busy fighting and standing up for injustice, against injustice, and standing up for people, they're not showing themselves to me because I'm not, you know, I'm too fiery, like what I said. So, you know, it kind of makes sense. We've got the, like the balance of the energies, right? Like if you're on a warrior path, if you're fighting, if you're in this fiery energy of the third dimension, it's difficult to be soft enough and gentle enough for romance, right? And like having an open heart. I think I have an open heart. I definitely have empathy, but I think that the point is that right now in my near future, it looks like this rather than like this. So it makes sense. I am going to try to do this with the other cards now and see the difference and show you the difference that way. I was going to read, you know, the corresponding, but I didn't realize that this is just set up in a totally different way. So I always like to say, like, I give thanks to the cards. Thank you for giving me answers. Had to go get some water. All right, so let's do that same spread, but with the Galactic Heritage cards. So we'll shuffle. So these cards are glossy and they feel pretty plasticky. They're really thin compared to the Mystic Martian. So the Mystic Martian is just a tad bit taller and a tad bit thinner. These cards feel more like cardboard and are a little thicker, where these are just, they feel like very plasticky and thin. These shuffle more, and I've had these cards are a lot older, but you see there's no bend to them, where these are already, they're all kind of like warped. I think Rockpool cards do that to me. I think they all get that like bow. Whatever that card stock is that they use, it just bows. So compared to the other deck, like right away, I'm feeling two decks with lots of energy. So I'm feeling more from this one. So I'll lay out the 5 cards. And we'll see if it works, considering it's, you know, a different deck. Okay, so what ET species am I most connected with? This says Arcturus parallel. So transmission. So I'm gonna look for card number 10. At least these are numbered. So this is parallel. Arcturus energy has guided humanity since its very early inception, but its guidance is subtle. It often guides through gentle energy transmission. Often this energy transmission comes through the healing arts, such as Reiki. How funny, see? I'm so connected to this deck. Like, I was just talking about Reiki. And other forms of hands-on healing. Because Arcturus polarities are totally balanced, it usually circumvents the mind when working with humans. If you pull this card, then the Arcturus energy wishes to work through you. In a quiet space, open your palms and focus the energy sensations there. Ask for a transmission. This energy is familiar to you from ancient times. Because the Arcturian energy is so pure in essence and so connected to our true state of being, it can assist us on the earth plane in many ways. It is often channeled through hands-on healing techniques and without words. It is transmitted from one human to another through love and touch. Again, this is one reason why it is such a profound component of midwifery. It is often the first energy channeled by new channels. Healing practitioners often get this card in their readings as validation of their art. If you have received this card in your reading again, it is important to look at the peripheral circumstances to which it can be applied. It may be acknowledging your healing abilities or suggesting that you work on them more. It may be telling you that you are the recipient of a transmission from loving Arcturus consciousness. Go deep within to find what is telling you. Could also be referring to channeling abilities that you have that can be expressed in many ways. In meditation, see if you can open yourself to receive this transmission and know that the transmission can come in words or through simple, pure, loving energy. So I love the write-ups and the thought that go into this. And this card, like, it's just so on point. It's so authentic and like, this is right on. So I love this deck. We'll keep going. So that is what ET species am I most connected with. So Arcturian and their energy of energy healing, which is so true. Like I said, I am very passionate about Reiki. That's what got me on this path of actually reading cards in the first place. It started out with Reiki and being like into energy healing and energy modalities. And I have a friend who does reconnective healing, and we've healed people together. We've worked together, and I was doing reconnective healing via Reiki without even knowing it. So I was channeling that energy naturally. So this is like very like true for me. All right, so card number 2, what is my life purpose? Courage. So this is Lyra, and that's the present. So we'll go a few cards over. And also from the same store where I met Lyssa and watched her channel is where I met an Arcturian hybrid. So her name is, I'll have to link, it's Vivian Chavez and Chavette, and she says that her mother actually was like brought onto an Arcturian ship, and she was impregnated and remembers all of this consciously and had Vivian. And Vivian's energy is very light and pure, and she does a lot of energy healing as well. And I've gone to a few of her meditations and workshops also when I lived in Phoenix. You can watch her YouTube channel here and like see what she has to say. So it's interesting that I know a real life hybrid Arcturian person. All right, so 2 is my life purpose. So we go over here to Lyra, courageousness. A symbol for the Lyrian royal family is the lion. Lions are often equated with courage. One of the most admirable qualities of Lyrians is their immense courage in the face of adversity. The human race shares this quality as part of our Lyrian heritage. There is a great courage in the human heart, and this card asks you to tap into that courage, which goes as far back as your Lyrian forefathers, and apply that strength in the areas of your life where you need it. If you can't tap into it, act as if you can. In doing so, your ancient Lyrian memory will reawaken to give you strength that you need. Now we move into the present time stream, which assesses energy from a more mature era of Lyrian civilization that is somewhat equal to the human evolutionary timeline on Earth. Now, in the present day, mature doesn't mean evolved, however. The Lyrians in this time stream still had their challenges much like we do now on Earth. The theme of this card is particularly poignant because it is a quality that humans inherited from their Lyrian forefathers, courage. In addition to what is said in the card text, it is important to learn to differentiate between courage and foolhardiness. Courage doesn't mean pursuing against all obstacles to create what you want. True courage isn't ego-based. Often the biggest act of courage is to let go. While this card may be emphasizing your inner strength, it could also be asking you to learn what real courage is and to live from there. It often takes courage to shift the prevailing belief systems of a person and the habitual patterns of society. This card may also be referring to not only your personal relationship with courage, but also what is needed for humans as a species in order to shift into a new paradigm. It cannot be done without courage, and your personal courage affects the whole. Well, look at the surrounding cards in your reading as well as your life circumstances to understand how this card applies to you in the current situation. Well, I definitely need courage right now with the changes, and we all do. I see my life purpose as being a teacher and standing in that courage and showing friends and family how to step in the courage to live authentically and to live in a space of authenticity, which is like really scary. All right, so what lessons did the ETs see I need to learn right now? That is Vega, alone time. Ancient Vegans were solitary beings. They often spent large amounts of time alone in quiet contemplation as a way to remain centered so that they had enough energy to be of service to their community. In current times, most people don't create the space to have this alone time. That is so very vital to their well-being. Take a look at your need for this essential quiet time alone. Give it to yourself. Not only for rest or activities that recharge you, but to look deep within yourself and work on your inner challenges. This is a fundamental need of all humans. This need can no longer be ignored. So it's interesting. That card really corresponds with the card that I got, this star seed card from the Martian. So these two actually go really, you know, it's showing him in meditation and to remember who he is and remember who she is. And then this is also saying alone time. You know, remember your origins, remember your power, remember who you really are. Take time for yourself to recharge so you can support your community. Reality on Earth today can be very chaotic, filled with multiple distractions from family, home, and work. These distractions can also be played out through our emotions, whereby our emotional states keep us distracted from our true internal essence. This is why stilling practices like meditation and yoga serve very important functions. They help us to still our minds so we can see our true connection to the universe and the true nature of our consciousness. Every human needs a time alone, not to distract ourselves with games or television, but to go deep within and cultivate an intimate relationship with our true selves. The Vegans were very solitary beings who recognized this essential need. If this card comes up in your reading, you cannot ignore this inner need any longer. Settle your mind and reestablish connection with your inner self. This is really not negotiable. Without this commitment, spiritual evolution becomes extremely difficult. This is a key to the next stage of human evolution. If you've already spent large amounts of time alone doing spiritual practice, this card may also be giving you the message that this alone time must be balanced with time out in the physical world with other humans as well. Well, I definitely spend a lot of time alone or in contemplation and in my spiritual practice. So I think I honestly need balance, but I think it also kind of means like I need to put my phone down and I need to not watch so much tarot tube and not mindlessly scroll. So, you know, I think that the alone time that I have, it needs to be, like they said, in quiet contemplation or meditation, or like sending Reiki or doing self Reiki or meditating on cards. But I also do need to balance it and have some human interaction, which I definitely agree with that. The next card is, where do they see my near future? This is Logic and Reason. We have Vega again. So it's interesting. We have a lot of Vega cards. We have 3 out of the 5 as Vega. Okay, so I was close when I said 109 cards. There are 108. 108 in this Galactic Heritage Cards. That is a hefty amount of cards. All right, so we're gonna go to 26. Okay, so it's literally 25, 26. So these probably weren't shuffled very well, but we'll go with it. Logic and Reason, present, Vega. In the very ancient days, Vegans were very balanced in their mental and emotional bodies, but later their practices of discipline created an imbalance of logic and reason. They learned to ignore their emotions, judging them to be inferior to the mental experience. Emotions are an essential part of the human experience and must be expressed alongside our thought process. Look at yourself honestly. Do you lean more toward focusing on the mental body, logic and reason, or more toward expressing emotions? Both are important, but in moderation. Balance comes with honoring both equally. Commentary. One of the biggest karmic challenges of the ancient Vegans had to do with how they used their self-discipline to develop the mental body. In this era of the Vegan civilization, they had a challenge with overdeveloping the mental body to the detriment of the emotional one. This eventually led to challenges in their offshoot races, such as the Zeta Reptilii and Earth. Many humans have connections to this time in Vegan history and still have challenges in being able to balance the emotions with the mental process. If this card comes up in your reading, look at the other cards surrounding it for similar themes, as well as your habits and patterns. It could be a message that you need to lessen your reliance on the mental body for navigating through reality. It might also mean that you need more grounding and should develop your mental body more. As you look within at your connection to this idea, you can see a clearer picture of why this card came up in your reading. Yeah, I definitely always have to work on grounding and being present and like feeling my emotions. Being raised in a Christian household, it was all very mental and not about feeling. You know, you always have to put other people first. You always have to be self-sacrificing. You always have to put your own needs and your own emotions aside. It's never about you. And especially being raised, you know, as a girl and being a woman in society, those messages are bombarded. So for me, why I got into Reiki and got into energy healing was to ground all my excess mental energy. It was like I used to be like a whirlwind, like literally like a tornado. There was so much in my mind at all times, circling, that I just like was always on the move, like always running, always dancing, always active. That fire that was in the other deck. So my air came out, my logic came out like this. And I was very opinionated, and you know, I was a women's studies major, but before that, even in high school, I was a feminist. Like I said, I was an athlete. In college, I went to raves. I danced all night, literally. And, you know, for me, dancing was a way to ground this logic. And it's been 20 plus years of working on grounding and becoming heart-centered. Like, I'm really focused now on my heart center. So it's very interesting that I say that the Mystic Martian cards are not right on, but with now pulling from the Galactic Heritage Cards, which I know these are like spot on, and I'm seeing that they're very similar. They're really saying the same message. I'm like, okay, maybe the Mystic Martian isn't so far off. All right, and then this is why they have not revealed themselves to me, which they have, but we'll go with it. All right, so this says spiritual technology present in Vega. The ancient Vegan mystics became quite adept at creating spiritual technology. This refers to using tools such as crystals, wands, geometry, and so on to enhance spiritual experiences or perform a function such as cleaning the energy in a home or healing a person. Originally, these tools were meant to be an enhancement of spiritual practices, but over time, the Vegans became dependent on them and forgot that the power was not in the object. This was a profound lesson for them. Examine how you use spiritual tools now. Do you depend on them more than your own inner power? So that would include tarot and oracle cards, crystals, wands, herbs, and yes, I depend on my tools, and I know like the next step for us is that we don't need any tools. And the Arcturian woman, Vivian, that I know, she's like, we don't need books, we don't need tools, like we just need to channel. Like, we have the healing power within ourselves. We have the healing power that we can tap into from our higher selves, like the higher dimensions, interdimensional, you know, we can heal ourselves, we can heal other people. We have the answers. We don't need to read it in a book. We don't need to like ask the cards. It's all within us. And so I've heard this message often, you know, from multiple sources and multiple people. And I mean, I know it's true. We do rely like on our little doodads and our crystals. They're pretty and they're fun, and you know, it's nice to be tactile, and it grounds us. For me, it grounds me in the human experience. You know, like again, being raised Christian, you're so in your head, and you're like cut off from your you're cut off from your physical experience, your physical body. You know, you're taught to repress, suppress, be a quiet, good little girl. And my rebellion starting, I've always been a little rebellious, but like really starting to rebel. You know, it's nice to experience the body. I mean, we are in human form, so like I want to be grounded in my body, and I want the senses. I want to engage my senses. I don't want to be cut off from them. I used to feel so disassociated from my body and from myself. Like I didn't feel real. Like I definitely had that depersonalization going on, and that like just nothing felt real. Like I remember being in DC my freshman year of college and felt like I was in a dream. Nothing felt real. Nothing felt solid to me. I think it was overwhelm of everything. And that is part, you know, why I went into my healing journey later on in my 20s was a lot of, you know, what I experienced that freshman year of college. Freshman year of college can be rough for anybody, everybody. It was really rough for me being a country girl, going to the city. I love the city life, but it was overwhelming at the same time. Anyway, so it says commentary: in a middle development era of the Vega civilization, a branch of spiritual science began to focus on spiritual technology. What is spiritual technology? It is technology that assists spiritual development. It can range from external tools such as crystals, wands, frequency generators, healing tools, and more. It can also include meditation techniques that have elaborate processes or steps that seem as if they provide a shortcut to a desired goal, but can often instead lead the practitioner along a path of distraction. All tools are neutral and can be used in a balanced way, an addictive way, or a way that controls others. This era in the Vega civilization was a challenging one, and it connects to the era on Earth in present day, where many are looking for spiritual shortcuts instead of doing their real deep inner work necessary for spiritual transcendence. If this card appears in your reading, it could mean different things, depending on the surrounding cards, your life circumstances, and past karma. Perhaps it may imply that you are becoming too addicted to spiritual technology and need to look at your inner self as a source of evolution. Or perhaps it's the opposite is true. Perhaps you can benefit by investigating spiritual technology in a balanced way. It could also be pointing to past lives in Vega or Atlantis in which you dealt with the misuse of technology. Go within and examine what this card means in the context of the other factors mentioned above. So it's interesting that this was the card in the other reading, and then this spiritual technology. I kind of feel like, we as humans use relationships as a tool also for spiritual evolution. And this is, can be a distraction. Definitely like a big distraction. So I obviously am called out right now. It's I use like tarot and oracle and gems and herbs in my spiritual practice. So it's probably, telling me like step back a little bit from those things. But it kind of contradicts, well, it doesn't really, because if I'm meditating and just meditating contemplatively without using candles or cards, but just meditating, then the meditation is still a spiritual tool, but I'm relying on myself and my own mind, my own heart, my own energy system, rather than like a card or a crystal or whatever. So it's interesting that I think that what this is saying is that I need to feel secure and empowered within myself, in my own abilities. And that even though I've been walking this path for 20 years now, that I still feel like a fraud. I still feel like there's more. There's always like more for me to learn. And maybe it's saying like step back. Like I have all the tools I need. I have all the information I need. It's all within me. I just need to trust myself. And then once I trust myself, more spiritual information and like the next step will present itself to me. So that's really interesting. An interesting take. So these are the two decks, the Mystic Martian Oracle, which after using it in conjunction with the Galactic Heritage Cards, maybe it's not so off. I just really love the book. I love how thoughtful this book is, and I like how it has the past, present, future, and parallel for the different areas. I mean, I think it also helps that I have met Lyssa Royal Holt, and I've seen her work, and I know that she's the real deal and she has integrity. I really respect Charles and the people he brings into his store to have like workshops and classes and things. When I remember the name of the store, I will put it in this video, or I'll put it below when I'm doing the thing. I haven't lived in Phoenix in like almost 3 years, so my mind is like a little fuzzy on store names, but it's funny because I used to go there. Storm Wisdom. I think it's called Storm Wisdom, but I have to double check. You know, there's so many great new age stores in Phoenix and so many cool, like, interesting people and gifted psychics and mediums and alien hybrids and healers that living anywhere outside of Phoenix feels kind of boring. Like, we're in Roswell, so I would expect to meet interesting people and meet other hybrids and starseeds, but everyone is either on the down low, hiding, or they're just not here. The Christian fundamentalism here is really strong, and it's a very conservative farming town. This used to be like the dairy capital of like New Mexico or whatever, and that is what Roswell wanted to be known as. And there's kind of like this tug of war between the old timers, the people whose families like run deep, and then the new people who move here, like my husband and I, who are here because you know, like the aliens and the UFO festival every year, and thinking that it would be like a fun place to live. There are some cool people here, and there's some cool shops. If anyone is in the New Mexico area who watches this on March 30th from 1 to 2 at Alien Enchantments, I think it's at Alien Enchantments, we are going to have a pagan meetup. So if anyone sees this video before then and you want to stop by, come stop by. It's going to be in the community room, which I'm excited to see who comes. I'm still working on what we're going to do for that, and maybe just kind of like a meet and greet and hang out to start. I wanted to make hot cross buns, but my husband and I are gluten-free, and making gluten-free like pastries, especially like bread, is kind of an ordeal. So I don't know. We'll see what I decide to make or bring or do, but I'm still working that out. I have 3 weeks, so cool. Let me know in the comments down below, which deck did you like more, and then which book do you like more? I love the Mystic Martian deck, like for the artwork. Like, these cards are gorgeous. I love the colors, and I love the whimsy. I love the backs. These cards are, you know, they're okay. I mean, they're watercolor and they are colorful, but they feel like very childlike to me. And they're kind of simple. I don't love it, but I love this book. Really, the shining glory of this deck is the book. The book is amazing. This book is okay. I think this book is good for learning about the different alien races. And like I said, a lot so far of what I've read, a lot of the alien races are vegans. And it's interesting to see their archetypal energy. So, you know, I was thinking of putting this on my to sell list on Pango, but I think I'm gonna keep it a little longer. After doing this walkthrough, I'm finding that there's some value in this. So I've read, you know, the intro, and I've gotten through to about here. I still need to read about all the other aliens. So I'm working on reading this book. I need to work on actually like reading this whole book, because this book is amazing. Sometimes I read the books, you know, from front to back before I even work with the cards, but these I just dove right in. And so as like this as well. And I'm like, oh, I'll just learn about the alien races as I go. But she says, you know, you should read the book and kind of like meditate on the cards before you even use them to really connect. And so I'm going to work on doing that, because maybe that's why I don't feel as connected to this deck as this one. But this deck, I just felt connected to right away. And the readings I gave, I knew it was like spot on. So, and I mean, just the sheer info and the amount of cards is phenomenal. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.